January, a month of fresh starts and fierce political shifts. Across Africa, it has been a stage for independence, uprisings, constitutions, and coups. Today, we revisit 20 powerful political events that unfolded in January. Moments that helped define Africa's political journey. This is on this day. After decades of joint British-Egyptian rule, Sudan officially gains independence. Prime Minister Ismail al-Azhari hoists the new national flag in Khartoum. Sudan becomes a pioneer of decolonization, inspiring movements across Africa. Yet beneath the celebrations, deep divisions between the North and the South sow seeds of future civil war. Cameroon becomes the first African country to gain independence in the explosive year of Africa. President Amadou Ahidjo assumes power. While French Cameroon is free, the fate of British Cameroon still hangs in the balance, to be resolved by a UN-organized plebiscite later that year. Ghana, the first sub-Saharan country to gain independence, takes another step forward. On this day, Ghana becomes a republic, removing Queen Elizabeth II as head of state. Kwame Nkrumah transitions from prime minister to president, consolidating his role as a Pan-African leader. Less than a year after gaining independence, Togo implements its first constitution. The move aims to establish a stable democratic framework, though political instability and future coups would test the young nation's resolve. Both countries had formally declared independence in mid-1962. The start of the new year marks a symbolic transition as governance structures, civil services, and constitutions begin to take root. Ethnic tensions, however, remain unresolved, particularly in Rwanda. The tiny archipelago of Zanzibar attains internal self-government under Sultan Jamshid bin Abdullah. However, the colonial power structure remains fragile, and within 2 weeks a revolution will erupt, toppling the monarchy. African revolutionaries led by John Okello overthrow the Sultan in a violent uprising. Over 20,000 people are killed in ethnic clashes. The new People's Republic of Zanzibar soon merges with Tanganyika to form Tanzania, a defining political unification in African history. The world learns of Congolese leader Patrice Lumumba's death. His assassination days earlier, with Belgian and CIA complicity, sends shockwaves through Africa. Lumumba becomes a martyr for anti-colonial resistance and a symbol of Cold War injustice. Uganda enacts its first constitution ahead of full independence. The federal structure tries to balance the power of kingdoms like Uganda with national governance. Milton Obote emerges as a central political figure, but the compromise will unravel in coming years. A group of young army officers, led by Major Nziogu, assassinates key politicians in what becomes Nigeria's first coup. Though short-lived, it sparks a chain of coups and counter-coups that lead to civil war and define Nigeria's political instability for years. While visiting Upper Volta, now Burkina Faso, Nkrumah escapes an assassination attempt. It won't be his last brush with danger. Just 1 month later, he will be overthrown in a coup while abroad. This marks the beginning of Ghana's back and forth between military and civilian rule. Seeking to neutralize ethnic and regional tensions, Nigeria creates the Federal Capital Territory. The goal: build a new capital at the nation's heart. Abuja is born as a city of national unity and future governance. In a swift military coup, General Ignatius Acheampong deposes Prime Minister Busia. He suspends the constitution and sets up a military council. His regime later faces accusations of corruption and mismanagement. Sudan enters crisis mode as President Jafar Nimeri declares a state of emergency. Civil unrest, economic collapse, and the reintroduction of Sharia law spark resistance. The nation is on the brink of chaos. Tensions flare as Libya's Gaddafi accuses Sudan of harboring rebels. Diplomatic ties are severed, fueling regional instability and reflecting the complex geopolitics of North Africa in the 1980s. By mid-January, rebel forces are closing in on Ethiopia's capital. The brutal Derg regime, led by Mengistu Haile Mariam, is collapsing after years of civil war. The moment marks the beginning of a political transformation and the end of one-party Marxist rule. Eritrea, newly independent from Ethiopia, adopts a transitional constitution. Hailed as progressive and democratic, it is never implemented, the government tightens control, and Eritrea soon becomes one of the most repressive states in the world. The comprehensive peace agreement between Sudan's government and southern rebels leads to the adoption of a new interim constitution. This political framework allows for autonomy and sets the stage for South Sudan's independence in 2011. Two post-genocide countries take a major step toward reintegration and economic revival. Their accession to the East African community reflects growing political stability and the dream of regional unity. Protests against corruption, police brutality, and unemployment explode into a full-blown revolution. Within days, President Zain El Abidine Ben Ali flees the country. The Arab Spring begins, with Tunisia at the epicenter of a regional political awakening. In January, Africa doesn't just welcome a new year, it reshapes its destiny. These moments remind us that history is written not just in parliaments, but in the hearts of people demanding change. Which of these stories moved you most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and join us for more journeys through African history, right here on this day.